Hello and welcome back to Onderheim Zoo. I don't think there's too much to update on before jumping into the speed build today. Haven't done really anything in the zoo, haven't really played much. Let's just get out of this kind of fancy view here. Taking a quick look over at our wild dogs that we just put in. There is actually a pup now. I don't know if she was here at the end of last episode. I don't think so. So here is let's just take a closer look. Our cute little wild dog pup. I think she looks very similar to the adults, because the adults are super cute too. But let's take a look at the hyenas as well. And it looks like the hyenas actually did have their first pup as well. Look at that. She's cute. Yeah, she is adorable. I love that. She's much cuter than the adult hyenas, I think. Kind of floating in the air right now. I don't know exactly why, but there she is, very cute. Takes after her father here in the coloring, it looks like. So that's really cool. But besides that, the only other thing, let me go over and check out the penguins really quick. So our penguins, I paused the game because there seems to be something wrong with our penguins. They're all quite upset because of this space issue, it looks like. And I don't know. So here's the thing. You go into here and it says there's no deep water area. So I know there was going to be some kind of update for the deep water, and I don't know if that's already come out. I mean, I guess when I'm recording this, it's the 1st of October. So I thought it was like October 4th. That update was coming out, so it is a little bit odd. Maybe the update was coming out before the pack release. I need to look into that and just see if perhaps the problem is that this isn't deep enough anymore. Like maybe they changed the requirements for what needs to be deep water, or maybe it's just a bug. Because right now it says there's 0 meters of 4-meter deep water, and I'm pretty sure this is like pretty decently deep water. Like, you can kind of see here when the transparency's down. I'm pretty sure that's 4 meters deep, because 4 meters is just the height of one wall. Actually, let's even check. I don't know if it says, does it say in here how deep it is? It says average water depth is not 4 meters, so maybe it is just not deep enough anymore for them. Let's see. So this is a 4x4. Yeah, see, this is a 4-meter tall wall. Is this really not not 4-meter deep water? I can always make this a little deeper and see if that helps, but I have a suspicion that maybe this is a bug. Okay, I made it quite a bit deeper now in the deepest places. You can see, oh, if it stops lagging, hopefully we can see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, we can see this is where it used to be. It's quite a bit deeper now. This doesn't really seem to be taking that space issue away. Maybe is there just too many penguins? No, because there's an adequate number of penguins. I know their enrichment needs to be updated as well. Oh, here we go. Okay. That did fix it. Okay, so maybe for some reason they changed how they're calculating depth or something, and we just needed that extra little bit of water. Perfect. Now I just got to figure out what color this water was before, because I really liked the old color. I think it was the same as these. But I also don't know. I think I got it to the same height as it used to be. Hopefully. It's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, I'll fix the color on there as well. Okay, there. I think that's what that looked like. And it looks like we have no more alerts, which is awesome. Okay, so I also, let me just zoom out a bit here. I also started to outline some ideas for this area here. So this is what we're going to be focusing on today. This is going to be our little Tatooine-inspired area. So essentially, I'm not going to go, I've been kind of debating back and forth. I think I'm not going to go for the, like, sci-fi looking stuff, like the satellites and the, you know, the wind turbines and stuff that they did have, or they do have on Tatooine. But instead, I love the building shape. I like that kind of look of, like, it looks quite abandoned, or like quite poor and old, and like there's lots of boxes kind of strewn all over the place and all that sort of thing. So I'm gonna kind of just go for that vibe, and I'm gonna use the inspiration from the shape of their buildings too, with those round domed roofs, I think are really cool. So that's kind of what I'm gonna aim for. And this is a fairly, if you compare it to here, I mean, it's actually quite a similar size area to this. It's a little bit smaller, so I'm hoping I can get it just as detailed. And hopefully it doesn't take me as long, but we'll have to see. I'm willing to put in a bit of work into this, so I do want to make this a nice little crowded, very detailed area. Hopefully some of my new building skills will make that go quicker, but I don't know how that's going to go yet. And then kind of long-term planning over here. This is where we're going to go into ancient Egypt. So I want to do, at first I was thinking about doing a pyramid, but I don't think I want to do a pyramid. I think I would rather do a temple. Like a non-pyramid temple, I suppose, because I think pyramids are technically like temples. Or not temple, I'm thinking, yeah, I guess kind of temple-ish. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up some inspiration, but I kind of just want to do a really cool, like crypt sort of situation that's not a pyramid over here. And then, yeah, in terms of wrapping back around, I don't really know yet. I do still think that I kind of want to go into like a traditional African style build over here, but either way, we're going to build up this today. I don't think I'm going to add the animals over here today, but I did get a really good suggestion that I thought was pretty cool about adding in peacocks or peafowl. So I think they would look awesome here. And I love peafowl, and I love how they, like, you know, a lot of the times they randomly walk around zoos. I've been to some towns even that have peafowl that just wander around the town, which I think is kind of neat, and it would be really cool if I could make that work in here. So I'm gonna have to play around quite a bit with the like habitat barriers, and where am I gonna put the you know, the staff for that habitat, and you know, where's the guest gate gonna go, because you can't obviously just have them running around freely in this kind of a zoo or in this game, I suppose. So I'm gonna play around with that a bit, but I am kind of aiming for, they can't swim, so this will be a natural barrier for them. I'm aiming for them to be able to be basically up to here, so I could maybe put a gate in here, and then they could go all the way to like the edge here, and then all the way to the this is the barrier for the fennec fox anyway. So basically that would be their natural barrier as well, and then this water. So it hopefully won't take too much building, because they should just be able to kind of wander through here, and we have a lot of natural barriers in this area, but we'll have to see how that's gonna go. But I think the first thing that I'm gonna do in the speed build here is tackle our new actual building area over here. So what are we, yeah, I also need to still fix oh god, I don't know what's going on there. I still need to fix this little area here. It keeps giving me notifications that animals are escaping because they go and stand here. I think I'll fix that quick before the speed build, but I will see you guys in the build. And here we are. So for starting off today's build, I decided I would do a single entire building at the very start here. So essentially, I had a bit of a guide. Like, I was using some photos, mostly of like renderings and like fan art and stuff for Tatooine, which I think they just, I don't know, they look a little bit better, I think, than actual movie stills and whatnot. So that's kind of where I got the inspiration for the shape of this building and all the decor and stuff that get added to it after all. But I kind of wanted to show you know, a bit more in detail what the building of this one looked like, and a lot of these elements that I'm building here I end up using all the way throughout the entire place, so I figured show it once and see what that looks like. So here you can see I am building our first dome. So domes are very prevalent in this build, and I thought it would be good to just show how I built the first one, because I just basically copy and paste this one or parts of this one throughout the entire thing as we go along. So the main trick that I would say when you're using these free pieces for domes, like domes are very easy with gridded pieces, because the grid is like where you have to place things for it to turn properly, I find. So you could see what I did at the very beginning there was essentially I made sure that the front and the back were 8 meters apart, 2 of those roof pieces apart, so that it would line up better. I don't think it ended up being quite, oh, this one ended up being actually really nice. So this one was pretty good. But yeah, never absolutely perfect. Here, okay, yeah, here's where it gets a little bit tricky, because I was like, oh, okay, well that was 8, so the dome's perfect, but this thing underneath ends up not being quite perfect, because I didn't want it to be, you know, an entire 4 feet out. But I don't know, I don't mind. I think it looks fine in the end. But I think, yeah, that works out okay as well. So that's just kind of what that looks like. You can see we copy and paste it over. And yeah, domes are essentially you just put up one side, copy it to the other side, and then rotate it around, obviously. Playing with the plaster a little bit here, I'll actually cut fairly shortly here, I think after the decor, and I switch all the plaster to be mud pieces instead. I just enjoyed the texture a lot more of the mud. I think it fits a little bit better, so I had to redo this building afterwards with all mud pieces, but that was fine. I'm glad I made that decision before I built any other buildings, so it looks a little bit better later on, but we'll take a look when we get there. So these are meant to be pipes. Hopefully they kind of look like pipes. That's kind of the idea here. There was a lot of there's a lot of industrial features and stuff on Tatooine, and I kind of wanted to do, I didn't want to do too much of it. Like, I didn't want to do anything super sci-fi looking on these buildings for decor. I just didn't really think it would fit the zoo all that well, but I did like the more industrial style features, so I kind of just stuck with those. The piping, you'll see we add a bunch of like vents and that sort of thing later on too, and did a lot of this fabric canvas all over the place. I ended up making this better afterwards. I replaced it with the more droopy canvas I found. I just didn't find it at the beginning, I don't know why, but I think it looks much better with the more droopy drapery instead. And yeah, that's just kind of a feature that I added, and yeah, here it is. I think this one looks much better. So I had a bunch of these all over the place. You'll see by the end of this build that there's just a ton of this drapery, and I think it looks really good. And I like the color too. I basically didn't really, that's the only color that I really tried to do in this area was that dark red. And I kind of like how that turned out. It's just red and mud colored or sand colored, however you want to look at it. And I think that kind of really turns out in the end. In general, for decorating, I took a very similar trick that I did in the Oasis, and that was just to go through all the pieces before I even started building, and picked out the ones that I knew that I was going to want to use and just favorited all of them. So I unfavorited everything from the Oasis, redid it for these buildings, and that way I just have a list right here, a short list of things that I can pick up and throw into spaces that needed filling in. So that's kind of what you can see, what you see me basically doing here. The pots, the metal pieces, things that look a little bit industrial and a little bit kind of abandoned, I suppose. I'm not really sure what the best wording would be for that. And here I just wanted to show, because I did make some custom crates. They're very simple custom crates, but I just thought I wanted something a little bit bigger and a little bit like more metal looking than those India crates. I just kind of bury in the sand and like stick around and fill in like backstage areas and that sort of thing. So I just wanted to show how I built them here in case you want to build something similar, but it's very simple. I just took those ones over there were some kind of metal pieces. These are like the corrugated metal sheets. Basically just made boxes out of all of them, and they look really big, but they look really good kind of in the background in the end. Here's a smaller piece as well. This one is from the are these pieces, there's multiple pieces here, they're from the Australia pack, and it was really, those pieces made it easier to make the rectangle shape, which I liked. The other ones were more square, which made it a little bit harder to work with, but that's all right. Obviously also making some room here for shops as well. We got kind of strewn shops all over the place as per usual, just to make sure that the guests remain happy and all of that as well. And then yeah, just adding these crates around and then kind of burying them in the sand a bit. I just kind of wanted everything to look around the area like it was buried in the sand, and then I go in later on and bring the sand all up and like kind of cover some stuff up a bit and make it all look like it's been blown around and buried and all of that. And yeah, just more of the industrial pieces here, which I really enjoy. And then I thought, you know what, I didn't really do much for plants in this area. I might go back through in part 2, since, I mean, I'm pretty sure part 1 is going to be in this title, but it's definitely going to take another part before I totally finish this area, because we know we want to add some animals and stuff anyway. So I might go through and add plants then, but I do kind of like the look of just like more barren, just rocks, and that sort of thing. So for the rest of this video, Essentially what I wanted to do was show me building the rest of the buildings, like the shapes. So I don't go into detail anymore. I do all the rest of the detail work off camera, like that decorating work, but it's basically the same as you saw in that first building. I don't think I really use anything else other than like copying and pasting those drapes around and just using those same elements all the way throughout, and you'll see those all when we do a little tour afterwards. But I thought it could be worth it just to, thought it might be helpful for you if you wanted to build something similar, just to show you kind of the shapes that I used when building these buildings. And again, I kind of looked up, you know, some inspiration photos and that sort of thing, and that's just where I got these general shapes from. But some of these buildings are more round, some of them are more square. I found there was quite a mixture of them, and I think they look pretty good next to each other. Some with more square edges, some with more round edges. And then also some smaller domes too. So essentially these pillars, I will eventually put I don't think I actually do it in the video because it took me a little while to figure out what to use, but I end up using the biggest half dome, or half sphere. Not these ones, but the ones that are actually in the shapes, like the Planet Zoo shapes. The largest half sphere fits perfectly on top of those. So you'll see those when we go back into the real-time part as well. But if you're looking for something like that, those fit perfectly, which is super nice. So this one here, I wanted to just do, it was just one simple building that had levels. The rest of the buildings do not have like guest accessible levels. I did enough of that in the Oasis. This one's mostly just a flat situation. But this one building, I thought, you know, why not? We'll just put a shop up there. Maybe guests will go up there, maybe they won't. Don't know yet. We'll have to see when we actually start playing if they're going to wander all the way up there to get their drinks or not. But yeah, this one's another square building. And yeah, the only interesting feature on this one is the shop that's going to go up on the top. And this one has an archway underneath. And that one is just going to be a pathway for staff to kind of go through the building to the wind turbine. I'll move it here right away so it fits a little bit better, or not right away, but later on. And that just kind of ends up being a nice little staff path, and then a building up top, or a drink building, I think, up top, or food or whatever. I don't know. We'll take a look at it later. And then this is another large building. So this one is a walkthrough building for guests, essentially to get from this kind of outskirts of the town into like the main portion of the town. This is kind of the gateway to get in there. So playing around with this one quite a bit, trying to figure out how to make a nice archway. Those things don't really make a very good archway if you want it to be 8 meters wide, because there's no piece to put in between them. I thought maybe there would be, but I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out what sort of piece to put in between those two. So that didn't really, I think I ended up turning those in the end or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's what this building looks like. And inside of here, we are going to have some more guest facilities, food and drink. Of course, again, I forgot to put bathrooms anywhere now that I'm filming this voiceover. I'm realizing I did indeed forget to put toilets anywhere in this area, so we'll have to do that when we go back to the real-time part. We'll put in some bathrooms somewhere. But yeah, this one has a couple of a food, a drink, and then a couple of exhibits as well. So we did add new exhibit animals into this part of the zoo today, and then the habitat we'll have to do in the next part of this episode. But this building here, basically just a fill-in building as well, because we have all of this space right here. And this one ended up being a lot more simple, I suppose, a lot more flat. It's just like a flat building with one little kind of tiered part over on the side here, and just the circles. We're just trying to fill in some space here, essentially. It is kind of interesting because most of these buildings are not actually used. They're basically just decorative. I tried to use a lot of the Oasis buildings for something, but this one's just, I mean, it looks cool, I think, and I think that's okay for like a build like this. I don't think every building that we build has to be, has to have a purpose. But when we do go to building the habitat in here, I'm not exactly sure what animal I want to do in here yet, but I know that I think I want their habitat to be like basically in a little town like this. So their habitat's going to have a whole bunch of buildings as well. So I think off to the side, some of these buildings, we might be able to turn them into like observation buildings, where essentially you can go in and then you can see the habitat, you know, from the shelter of the building sort of thing. And then some of these buildings might turn into actual shelters for that habitat. We'll have to see. I'll plan that out next time. But that's just kind of what's in my mind right now anyway, for these ones. And yeah, this shape, this one is like basically a cake shape is what I thought about, what it kind of seemed to me like. It was like a birthday cake sort of thing, a tiered cake situation. So this one's the most symmetrical building that we have, and I copy and paste this one a few different places because I do like how it looks in the end. And then after this point, it's basically kind of filling in the gaps here. So got a bit of a space here, and this space ends up being a really good spot for a couple more food and drink buildings, with cute little, like a cute walkway over there is what I end up putting in, and I think that ends up looking really nice. And yeah, like I said, I copy and paste this cake building over. I detail that up off camera, I think, just to kind of have that. But you can kind of see here how the paths are going to go as well. So I can't remember if I think I might have put the paths in off camera as well, but I'll show you when we get to the real-time part where those paths are. Essentially, that makes up most of the building. I just kind of fill in the rest of this now, so I copy and paste these buildings a little bit, just to fill in the space. That way, you know, I don't have to build totally new shapes every single time, and that's what it looks like. So let's jump in. Okay, so let's do a little walkthrough of what we've done today. So this is right at the very entrance here. This is our old part. We went through that one, I think, last time, so I'm not going to go through there again. But here is the view, the main view into our wild dog habitat on this side. I don't know if we're gonna spot any in there, are we? Is there anybody there? Oh yeah, you can see him over there. Is there another one? Nope, just the one wild dog for now. That's alright, not too bad. So yeah, this is what the buildings look like from down here. So we got a little bit of the decor around here. You can sort of see a little alleyway back there, though we can't go in there. You know, the habitat screens and all of that is all up in here. A little secret doorway, maybe for staff, maybe for, you know, just for show. Who knows, really? This is who we're playing right now. That's why she's highlighted with her spider hat. I love those hats so much. I wonder, what is she doing, actually? Is that like, I don't know, is she shading her face? It's hard to tell. And then, yeah, you can kind of see a little bit of detail back in that back area there. And yeah, let's just keep on going. So this is still the wild dog habitat on this side. All right, here we go. So this is that first building that we made. So one of the more detailed buildings. But of course, if we get a little hungry, we can grab a hot dog here. She seems ready to serve those hot dogs. Let's just run down this way a little bit. So over here, this is the shop that we can walk up to. So if we walk up here, oh, it looks like somebody actually is here getting some water. We could do a little, we could sit up here a little bit, see another view of the hyenas over there. You can see, no, that's not a hyena, that's a tree. All right, well, you know what? It's fine. You can also see a sneak peek into this area over here, as well as the windmill, which I think is kind of cool. Adds a little bit of that sci-fi vibe, without really being too sci-fi. But yeah, that's kind of what that looks like. That's just a staff path to get back there, and let's just keep going down this way. And down here we have a few more food shops and just some space here for people to sit. This is a little bit plain. Might add a little bit more to it, maybe some screens or something. I don't know yet. I'm not totally sure what I want that to look like. We'll wander over here, even though this is not a guest area, but this is the backstage, like the staff area. We've got a bunch of buildings back here. I think it looks kind of cool, and then, you know, it's easy enough to just wander over to the habitat there with the food and all of that fun stuff. So let's go into this area here. So this is entering kind of the main little town area. We have our rattlesnake in here. Where are they? I don't actually know. They blend in very well. Our rattlesnakes. I think they're in there. I'm pretty sure the exhibit animals don't need to be placed in. But we've got Cosmic Cow over there, and we've got Some Missy Good donuts over here as well. This place is also a little bit plain. I don't know, I'm kind of going back and forth a little bit on whether I want this whole area to be a little bit more plain and boring or not, but I do think some clutter in here would look good. I'll probably add some more clutter in later on. But this is our Eastern brown snake. Also unsure of where they are in there. My screen currently, I'm getting a bit of glare from the sun, so I don't really see very well either. You might be able to see it better than I do. But yeah, this is what it looks like inside. So we've got some floating dirt up in the sky, which is always fun. Let's ignore that. Some seating here, and then this is what it looks like down the main strip. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. I put in some education boards just to up our education rating a bit. Lots of seating in here. We've got our food and drink and everything like that as well. As we're going this way, we see we've got Cosmic Cow over here again, or milkshakes? Milkshakes, I think that's the milkshake one. And then we've got some more. These are both souvenir shops. So we've got Looney Balloons and I think Just a Memento. Or hats, I can't remember which one I put in there. I think Just a Memento. But yeah, that's kind of what that looks like. And you can sort of see the staff area back here, but I think it kind of fits in with the vibe a bit too. And the negative effect doesn't really affect guests as long as they don't go past here. We'll see if they actually start walking down these paths. I might have to play with the new path barriers that are coming in the new update today. So yeah, that'll be cool. But yeah, over here I just put some education boards and it's kind of just ready for more expansion out that direction. But yeah, that's kind of what that looks like. I hope you like it. It's definitely, I mean, it was easier to do than the Oasis Island. It was not quite as much detail, as much things. It was quicker, but it was still pretty, like, there's still a lot going on here. And I do kind of like the overall aesthetic. I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it looks exactly like I wanted it to look. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. Maybe a little bit more clutter here and there we can throw in, but I can always do that a little bit over time. So yeah, that's what that looks like so far. Next episode, we'll be wrapping up this area here. So I'm super excited about that. Oh, I actually didn't mention this giant dirt pile. I was playing around a bit with the idea of having some larger, like, blown sand hills around, and I think I do kind of like, I mean, it looks like a sore thumb right now, but just the kind of idea of what it might look like from the background through here, I don't mind. I might play around with it a bit. That's just there for my reference for now more than anything. But yeah, as always, let me know in the comment section below what you think of this area so far. I know it is a two-parter kind of for one area. We kind of did the same thing for the Oasis as well, putting in the animal in one and then the building in the other. This one's just the other way around. We did the building first and then we'll do the animal next session. So yeah, let me know what you think and I will talk to you in the next episode.